You want to do that? Or
Yeah.
You can do that?
No, I just put it there so I can blow away.
Oh. Do you want to hold the card one then?
Oh, okay, I'll hold it.
There's some card. Give me that, and I'll give you 4 on that.
Well, the threat of Kojonup Sporting Complex, or the Kojonup Town Oval, being drenched with rain and absolutely pissing down. Ain't going to happen at this stage. Thankfully, the rain has held off, so the only pissing that will be done around the complex will be just getting pissed or having a big piss up, of course, responsibly, as we know. Louis Balzomi here on behalf of Filming Footy, back with you after a fortnight away, joining you now for the big Lower Southwest Football League clash between the Might and Power, the top of the table, the seemingly invincible home side here in the Kojonup Cougars, up against a very gallant and always honest Imperials Magpies. So first versus third, but there is quite a gulf between these two sides. Kojonup 8 and zip with a percentage of 294.2. Imperials 4 and 4 with a percentage of 113.8, fresh off the bye last week. But they did push second place Bridgetown quite close. In fact, they led in red time in the third quarter, but unfortunately couldn't fire a shot in the last quarter, being held goalless, and eventually went down by 16 points. So the Magpies, under coach Matt Seymour, will be hoping to atone for that, but they're going to come up against a side that put Boyup Brook to the absolute cleaners and then some, and that's probably being kind to the side currently sitting last with a percentage of 28.38 last week in a match that saw them crack the 200 barrier in score. And the big Lee Lucifer up forward, the lucky Lucifer, belting 14 goals off of his boot, if you don't mind, as well. So they're looking a good Kojonup, and they welcome their playing coach Travis Abbott back into the side. So 4 changes, and you'd think after a near 200-point belting that you wouldn't make any changes, but injuries and some sore bodies and a chance to rest a few up even for that particular matchup itself, where they won by 192 points to be exact, and now bringing back some big guns. So Thomas Balch, Jake Abbott, Charlie Tonkin and Stratton Jones all make play. Jones was running around in the reserves before, which last check, I think Imperials had a pretty solid win there. We'll see if we can get a final score for you very, very shortly. But yeah, coming back into the side for the Cougars, Brad Ashton swapping the 11 jumper with Balch. And also Ryan Bellotti in the 19, Clancy Tonkin 23, and as we mentioned, the coach Travis Abbott to line up alongside skipper Harry Taylor, not to be confused with the Geelong Premiership great. And over on the Imperial side, nearly half a side being changed around. Of course, 20 aside in the LSWFL. 7 changes we have to the team sheet compared to their start 2 weeks ago against Bridgetown. So Christian Bravich, Charlie Waldman, Tito Tomasi, Tom Danks, Mason Goodridge, Jake Rogers and Max East all out of the side. Scott Gitzarelli, the vice-captain, did play 2 weeks ago, but he welcomes brother Sean Gitzarelli back into the side, the 22. Mitch Farmer, again, not to be confused with the former Richmond Tiger who played 15 years ago, 31 games, 3 of those for Port Adelaide. He's, that particular Mitch Farmer actually running around for the Calder Lions in the North Central Football League in Victoria at the moment, formerly Nullawil. The Mitchell Farmer we're talking about, though, who has played in the Perth Footy League, he has done what he did against Dean Mill a few weeks ago and doubled up. So he's looking for 8 quarters of football today. So Imperials certainly need to call up a few charges from the reserves to back up. The captain, Brandy Armstrong, is back, which is vital. Lachlan Smith also back, and I think he's also doubling up too. Memphis Mayers, you'd see him running around in the reserves too, so he's into the side also. Christopher Franklin in. Sale Constable, the 11, swapping the jumper with Tom Danks. And we mentioned Sean Gitzarelli as well. So here we go. Opening term underway. The air raid siren. God, we love that. And it's Angus Brisbane, the big ruck for Imperials, getting the early tap down. They get the early soccer as well. Charging through hard is Malentis. Good little handball, and they're away. First kick up inside 50, going to the left of your dial, down the bowling club and Imperials. And we get a whistle and a ball up straight up. So good start early for them. Certainly needed if you're going to be able to tame the top side, but not when you allow Big Ashton to return into the lineup and get an easy tap down like that. towards centre half back, but the Magpies have got enough numbers there to trap it around, but now they are met evenly by the Cougars' defence. Hot potato in there. Talego, the helmeted one, able to help that on its way. That one there just missing Molentus. He put some good pressure on, though, just to hassle the coach Abbott out for the Cougars, but Abbott was super supreme, though. Didn't flinch whatsoever. That's just experience personified. Helped to clear it away, and eventually the ball's out of bounds in front of Tully for a throw-in. I think Jordan Johnson, the 9, also around that. So that's certainly promising for Imperials, though, to get that early centre clearance. Can they keep it up, though, against the might and power of the premiership favourites? As Ashton helps that one on its way from the tap out, and the Cougars clear away back through the middle, and then they retreat back towards centre half back. Careful kick is a good one too. So they settle play here at right half back. In no rush to move it forward, nice and conservative of energy so far. As they now send up towards right half forward. They kick carry probably a little bit further than what they anticipated, including Kyle Smith and also Lee Lucev. Remember Lucev 14 goals last week against Boyup Brook. As that one travels over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. So they were 2 of the lead-up targets, but they cleared both of them. It's going to tap down there from Ashton. It's missing O'Shea, but he's quick to put the tackle on and stop Johnson in his tracks. So we'll do it all again, this time at right half forward for the Cougars. That time Brisbane with a good tap down, but only as far as Taylor doing the quarterback sweeping roll. Tumbles a kick inside 50. Little toe poke forward for the Cougars was clever. Taylor the one trying to run onto it. Can't quite get there. Beebe able to beat him to the punch. And then the skipper Armstrong, handball. Dangerous one. Corey Johnson. Probably got shoved in the back there, I thought. Play on's the call. Hall now dragged off of it. Ball jars free. Toigo gets another go at it. Doesn't get much of a toe poke, though. And once again, the umpire will call it back. Or no, he will give a free kick to O'Shea for over the shoulder, I believe, against Smith. And he is within range too. So let's see what Lockie O'Shea has in store for us. He decides to pass it short, and why not? And the lead is rewarded by Smith. He's in good form, O'Shea, as well, in the best players in the last 2 games. Both of those being against Boyup Brook. So he sat out round 9. Well, round 9 was the bye for Kojonup, so everyone sat out, of course. But anyway, Smith, who kicked 2 of their 34 goals last week. Every percentage counts. Gets the first one today. So early order restored for the Cougars after the Magpies had the first couple of looks inside 50 in the first minute. And they get the first goal. To see if they can continue on their winning ways. Last premiership for the Cougars back in 2023, which was their 2nd overall. They've been around a long time, 1923. Former members of the Great Southern Football League. Joined this league in 2008, won their other premiership back in 2014, while Imperials, they've got 9, their last one coming back in 2018. Former members of the Warren Football Association, establishing the club, well, it says 1930 according to Wikipedia, but the club itself, 1917. So well over a century old. As we get a restart here, and we're over now on the far wing, the Blackwood Road wing. The Imperials have possession here. So 50 it goes, reaching up high there. Travis Abbott couldn't take it down. And appealing for a free kick there was Tonkin, but umpire says nothing doing. Fair play to all. Boundary throw-in in the right forward pocket for the Magpies. So good to see another clearance for them from the centre. They'll be hoping that, even though that they want to get on top in the centre clearances, it's not as a result of Kojonup goals. Already considered the one so far. Off hands here. Another ball up. Tonkin the last with the footy. So we'll see again Brisbane up against Ashton, but Brisbane was able to get the tap down. Ball now goes towards the square for the Magpies. Good one-on-one battle here between Gitzarelli, Scott and Marinoni. And Marinoni able to rush it through for a behind just. And Gizzarelli, the worst for wear there, might have even got a bit of contact potentially with the post or just an accidental knee to the nads. Either way, he's a sore man at the moment, so hopefully for his sake, the vice-captain can recover and continue to have impact today, as now the Cougars, speaking of impact, come through the middle, through heavy traffic as well. Lucev with a sweeping handball. Taylor, though, stopped on a dime and allowed traffic to return to him after he had clearance to merge into the far lane. He ended up going against that and got stuck. So ball up, centre-half forward for Kojonup. Good palm down from Ashton. Open-handed slap inside 50, but again, the traffic quite heavy. Plenty of numbers around the ball, and Morgan now rides the tackle for Imperials. He's able to hold play up yet again. So well done to the Magpies to ensure no clear avenue to goal here for Kojonup. They have to do it the hard way. They're going to try and scrap through now. There's Matthew Marinori, the vice-captain. Handball off to Smith. It will be 2 goals for him. Not this time, though. 1 goal, 1 instead. And that is Kojunup's full score at the present time. 7 minutes gone here in this opening term. Tyre Power Manjimup, Lower Southwest Football League, filming footy match of the day. 1-1-7 plays 1 behind. The Cougars have the advantage so far. So what can Imperials do on the counter-attack? Good kick out wide to the captain in Armstrong. Right half back, but then he lets himself down. Spears it straight to O'Shea. We may not have expected it, but the peripherals were working at full tilt. He was able to take the intercept off to Matthew Marinoni, I should say, inside 50, off hands here. O'Shea's been busy early. Bit of holding going on there, but umpires said both teams had equal share of that, so he let play go on. Lucev now can't break away from the BB tackle. Good work, Colby. And he's able to take the free kick. Almost gives it straight back to the opposition, though. Tully through his hands. Good tackle there by Jordan Johnson. Does he get rewarded? He does. So Imperials up for the fight early. And we saw that against Bridgetown last start as well, a couple of weeks ago on their turf also. So 2 away games on the bounce either side of their bye against the top 2 sides. And they're making a good account of themselves so far, Imperials. Another free kick now on centre wing on the swimming pool side, on broadcast side, taken by Sale Constable, one of the 7 changes for them. And that switch kick through the middle, though, doesn't find Toigo. But Toigo finds the footy back. Well done. Great second effort. Handball back now towards Morgan. Puts the fend off on the tackle and releases space now to right half forward. Armstrong spills through his hands. We'll see if he can atone for that missed kick before. Yes, he can. Beautiful work into Malentis. You're not going to see a captain make 2 mistakes in a row all that often. Armstrong was adamant that he wasn't going to become that minor statistic. That was a fantastic recovery from him and a beautiful lead and slide in from Malentis too. One of the most important cogs in this Imperials lineup as he loads up and misses. So 2 behinds. What I've got down, the graphic just has the 1 behind for the moment. We do believe that that was a rush behind earlier on, courtesy of Jamie Marinoni, where we saw Scott Gizzarelli come up a little bit lame from that one-on-one contest in the Imperials goal square, but we'll confirm that at quarter time. Either way, it is Kojonup with a goal advantage, courtesy of Kyle Smith. As they can't find an avenue out of defensive 50 here, the Cougars all that easily again. The Imperials' pressure is at maximum right now. And Johnson, that's Corey Johnson this time, comes in and takes the intercept mark at centre-half forward. Nicely played. Straight and long. Unfortunately, off hands and out of bounds for a throw-in, but maybe fortunate for Imperials. They'll get another look at this. And not concede easy ball straight up. Margin a goal or under. Depending on whether that rush behind was actually counted. We do believe it was, but we'll confirm that at quarter time. As Smith now trying to do it at both ends for the Cougars. Kicks off the ground and then gathering handball was superb to Van Voorthusen. The Flying Dutchman in towards centre wing. Off hands here. Once again, Imperials with The intercept and the release in towards Samuel Hancock. That's got the carry. It doesn't quite have the bounce, does it? Yes, it does. Bounce one way, straight and back up. The late great Shane Warne would have been proud of that. Actually, we saw Mike Gadding at the MCG going through the museum. And, of course, the Shane Warne part. And he actually held the ball of the century. That bamboozled him and wowed all of us. Way back in 1993. Shane Warne's first ball in England. It's great to see the legend Mike Gadding, though, continue to sing the late great's praises and not have any ill will towards what happened on that day for him. And actually, he wears that with a badge of honour, that he was the one that fell victim to arguably the greatest ball ever bowled in all forms of cricket, let alone Test cricket. So, anyway, back to this match, though. Sam Hancock, fantastic goal from deep. Got the bounce he needed, and Imperials have either levelled it up or got a point ahead. Either way, they are proving they're going to be no easy beats today, if this is anything to go by, as they get another clearance. So they've got all three centre clearances so far in this matchup, the Magpies. But the Cougars now have possession here at left half back. Travis Abbott helping start that handball chain. They kind of go in a bit of a triangle, and then eventually the kick comes up. Smith once again. And he's putting a lot of kilometres into those legs so far today with the one goal and helping out defence and going through the middle again. Got the fist down, but well picked up here by Morgan. Off a step. Wasting no time. He's been good so far too. And then cool in the clenches. Also been good as Jordan Johnson. Sat on his oar. Accepted the tackling pressure. Kept his arms free. Got the handball away. Even though it came back in towards his vicinity. Ball up. Either way, he didn't concede holding the ball. So sensational from him as he gets this one down from Constable. Doesn't quite grasp it though. So he goes back after it again. Puts a game tackle on with Zach Hall. And we'll get a ball up. So good start from Imperial so far. Of course, they do sit third in the 7-team competition. But they are 4 wins behind the ladder leaders, Kojonup, and 3 behind second place Bridgetown. They get it forward here yet again. That one there too wide though for Scott Gitzarelli. And it travels out of bounds for a throw in. 13 minutes gone here in this opening term. The Tyre Power Manjimup Lower Southwestern Football League. Filming footy match of the round here in round 11. Kojonup 1-1. Imperials either 1-1 or 1-2. TBC at quarter time. As we get another ball up from that ensuing throw in. Contest between Memphis Mayors backing up from the reserves and Lachlan Norrish for the Cougars. Norrish goes in again. Does he get some high contact there from the knee of Johnson, Jordan? Nope. Another ball up, says the umpire. Straight up again. This time Isaiah Reid doing the ruck work for the Cougars. Hacking it out of there is Van Voorthusen. Spinning out of danger now, Hall. And a pretty clever handball too. Lateral one gave Raymond Mayers a chance, as did Timothy Mayers. All 3 Mayers having a look today. Memphis as well for Imperials. Side 50 it comes. Timothy this time couldn't quite grasp it. And the Cougars clear, but only for the moment though, because once again Morgan, he's been a star so far for Imperials. Long raking ball, too long, out of bounds on the full. So unfortunate for him. But still impressive. Matt Seymour should be smiling from ear to ear watching this unfold so far. It's just hopeful now they can extend it out into quarters 2, 3 and 4. Understatement as we know, but quarter 1 so far has been excellent for Imperials. As the kick comes back out, is that out of bounds on the full in return? It looks like it is too, even though there was a plea for touch off hands. Umpire having none of it. So back it'll come, and it'll be Hall that'll have the free kick. Down on the mark, Connor Fraser. Couldn't believe his rotten fortune there that the ball sailed back over the boundary line. So we get 2 out of bounds on the Fulls in 2 kicks. The kick-to-kick action is now Hall. No pressure from Fraser on the mark, but he stuffs up the kick though. Unfortunately, didn't get the air on it. Out of bounds it goes. Now what's happening here is going to be another throw in or a plea of deliberate. No lasso, though, because, well, it's inside 50, and normally the last touch out of bounds doesn't apply there. I don't think the Lower Southwest Football League have that rule in vogue, at least from an inside 50 point of view, and we haven't had it tested between the arcs yet today. Of course, yours truly's first game of LSWFL calling for filming footy. As we get another ball up here, Scott Cazzarelli helping lock up that last stoppage, but this time, though, getting away for the Cougars was Tonkin. To heavy traffic once again, handball up in the air there, Toigo. So fight on valiantly again, Imperials. Toigo follows up once more. I think Chris Franklin was also involved in that contest. Bone crunching down Molentus, but he protected the footy enough. And then Smith gathered it for Kojonup, but the boundary line beat him. So this is excellent work, as we said, from Imperials Magpies. Remember, 34 goals last week. Kojonup kicked against the bottom side, and they only got the one so far. It was the first of the day through Kyle Smith. Nothing since then. As we see, another free kick going the way of Imperials here. Head first, over the footy. More often than not gets reward, and that's exactly what's happening here. So, can they get a bit of separation on the Cougars for all of their good work? Not with that kick, though, out of bounds on the full, sadly. An unfortunate letdown, despite all the hard work. Have had a couple of those go wide to the right and either just bounce in for a throw-in or travel the full distance on the full. But last time the Cougars had a kick back in from that exact spot, it went out of the full the other way. Not this time, though, but off hands there, reading it well with Sam Hancock, who's got their goal. And the kick comes in board, rushing, and unable to trap it was Alex Hancock. And the one behind is the end result. So 1-2 or 1-3, either way, for Imperials. The 18-minute mark of this first term. 1-1-7 is the score for Kojonup. And once again, the ball now just trapped around right half forward for Imperials. Just have a look at the replay here. It was Holden Toigo, the man in the helmet, that had that flying shot at goal. And it wasn't a bad effort too. Sort of hacked it up in the air and hoped for the best. Best wasn't quite there in the end. As now to see a momentary stop in play here. Imperials have the ball back in possession once again. Inside 50, this time, though, Smith able to shut the avenue to Molentus and did it nicely with an intercept mark, a convincing intercept mark, which we haven't seen a lot of so far for the Cougars in this game. But Smith is doing it all, both ends and in the middle too. That one there, Van Voorthuizen couldn't take the mark, comes out the back there to Beebe, who rides the bump and then loses the footy though, straight to Norrish, and now the Cougars have a bit of an opportunity to make something of this, but they can't do so. O'Halloran unable to trap that, so has to resort to the tackling pressure on Sam Hancock. That's all right, because he had some backup behind him, and Jamie Marinoni. No, sorry, it's Lachlan Norrish, I should say. I thought I saw a 3 on that jumper, but it's a 7 instead. He's able to take the quarterback mark inside 50. Coming through with the fist there nicely, Timothy Mayers slides in. Want some high contact free. Umpire says nope. It was well protected by your opponent. Ball up, that opponent being Ben Taylor. So, there we say it. A rare inside 54, Kojonup. And there'll be a deep one here now. Tonkin got the handball receive. Inside 50 it goes. Off hands. Tully can't keep it alive. And another ball up as we now hit the 20-minute mark of this opening term. 139 is the score I've got down for Imperials. 117 for Kojonup. Now, Human Footy Graphic has it 117 apiece, but we will get that confirmed at quarter time. The appealing for a push in the back there was Hall, as he was flattened, but umpire allowed play to go on. Norrish again, burrowing under for the Cougars, takes the tackle, and we'll get yet another ball up. Was behind the camera today, Graham Spilstead from WA Tape. Thank you very much for this wonderful vision that we're seeing live here on Filming Footy and Classic Clashes. Of course, Brandon Woolhouse doing excellent tech work, as he has been doing for me all year, no matter what league we're covering. So, as we get back to the action, free kick to Armstrong for Imperials. And sadly, though, a second mistake for him in this quarter. Now, we did say that captains very rarely, if at all, make 2 mistakes in a row, and he certainly has not done that, but still 2 collective mistakes in the one term. He'll be keen to atone for that. We'll see how hard he crashes next contest. Not involved in that one, though. Franklin off hands for Imperials, straight down the guts. Slipping and sliding there was Alex Hancock. Ball still trickling, though, inside 50. Remember, it's still quite wet underneath. There was some heavy rain earlier in the week. Thankfully, it's held off today. We expect a fair bit more coming in a few days' time, though. Sadly here, Hancock Alex has given away the free kick. At 30 out from Imperials' goal. So we're expecting in a couple of days' time around 5 to 10 millimetres, 80% chance of that. But today it's downgraded just 1 to 5. So we might see something a little bit later on. Haven't got a lot recorded according to the bomb, but then do we really trust the Bureau of Meteorology these days? 96 million for a website doesn't work anyway. I'm using Weather Zone at the moment. That's pretty trustworthy. Wind gusts at 32 kilometres an hour, and we've seen that the far wing's getting a real test of that. The ball's sort of carrying right to left along that wing. As we get back to the action here, Norrish. 1-2 handball. Taylor was involved with that chain. They still can't find an easy avenue out, and that can happen a lot when you play against the side. And no disrespect at all to Boyer Brook, but they are certainly way off the mark this year. And you get a result of near 200 points to the good. You can be in a bit of as I say, holiday mode, sort of in cruise control, and not really carry that renewed momentum back into the next game. That's what's happening with the ladder leaders at the moment, but still, they're only a couple of points down as a free kick is given away here. Once again, unfortunately, Alex Hancock gave one away a couple of minutes ago, and that one there just a little too aggressive, got over the shoulder, and the Cougars escaped once again to right half back. Bit of a clash there. O'Halloran involved with Jermaine the Weasel. Of course, a wrestling fan. Those of you old enough to remember Bobby the Brain Heenan, the late great. His nickname was the Weasel. Those two colliding there, not a lot of talk, and we get another ball up at left half forward for Imperials. Brisbane back in the ruck, their prime ruckman. A chop out from Sale Constable today as well. So that one there is socket off the ground, but running into it with some space, which they haven't had a lot of in this quarter, have Kojonup was Taylor. Hacks it inside the centre circle, as it's diving for it and slapping it away was Corey Johnson, and he got some high contact from Weasel, and he'll get the free kick. 24 gone in this first term. We're about to go. As that lateral kick, not the best for Morgan, but he's got some time to pick it up. And then the pressure, though, from O'Shea was enough, though, to affect the kick. Scragged off of that one was Raymond Mayers. No free kicks at the umpire. Now we'll see what Taylor can do. Much cleaner possession that time. Still, though, Weasel couldn't get it on the half volley, but the follow-up work was good. Kept his body in front of the ball. That's what you got to do. That's training 101. Especially when you're a junior. Off to Taylor, the captain. Inside kick, that was Harry Taylor that time. Now let's see what happens here. Smith, did he get his boot to it first? No, the umpire said. So we'll count that as rushed. Desperation stuff. Sam Hancock involved in holding that one up. And doing just enough in the end. So 1-2-8 plays 1-3-9. 1 point is Imperials' lead. I'll be more than happy with that going into quarter time. So we await the kick out here for Sam Hancock, who has got their goal. He was the one on replay that just got his left boot to it before Kyle Smith could get his right boot to it. If you see that deep in the last quarter when you're trying to hang on to a lead, you call that one a match winner every day of the week. Twice on Saturdays. As Weasel fights on here for the Cougars. Centre wing over on the Blackwood Road side. The swimming pool side could have that upside down. My apologies there. As Imperials get the free kick through Tim Mayers. So they've certainly won their fair share of the umpire's whistle so far, and well-deserved too, because they have been getting first at the ball for the majority of it. This one here, cut off by Van Voorthuizen. Gets the handball receiver centre-half back, and away come the Cougars now. Kick on the 45-degree angle is a good one. And it finds Tully, and he now finds someone in space, and Van Voorthuizen runs on. He started the chain at centre-half back with that handball received. Gets it at centre-half forward. Wants Weasel, doesn't get him. He now waits for Harry Taylor to get onto it, who paddles it now towards Weasel. Anything can happen here. Little toe poke is clever, and just the required 15 to the vice-captain, Matthew Marinoni, I should say. And he will line up to put the Cougars back in front. In the shadows of quarter time. So Matthew Marinoni, not much of an angle to speak of, very close to goal, and he shanks it to the right. So from what I've got jotted down in my scorebook, that scores level at 1-3 apiece. As we mentioned, we will confirm that score at quarter time. The Filming Footy graphic at the moment has 1-2 to 1-1, but that's okay. We'll forgive Graham for that. It's not the easiest job in the world to multitask with the scoreboard operations for the graphic and keep the camera rolling nicely. Of course, give priority to the latter for that. And he's doing a fantastic job so far. Crisp pictures here on the YouTube stream for Filming Footy and Classic Clashes. As Cougars now come through the middle towards that far forward. Weasel can't get there though. Well beaten to it by Beebe, who's had a great first quarter. Spins as he picks it up. Knew the tackle was going to come, but unfortunately the umpire said you gave Pryor away by doing that. So free kick back in the Cougars' possession. Weasel now charges in, just does enough to roll the tackle, not getting to his opponent's back. Here's an opportunity. Here's the 14-goal scorer from last week, Luce Evans. That's his first for today. And he lets Scott Gizzarelli know all about that one as well. So just remember, mate, I kicked 14 snags last week. Try and stop me now after I get me first. You can see the old school scoreboard there, plenty of kids looking after that. Still a fantastic sight, even though most grounds have electronic ones. Hey, wow, spoke too soon. You dudded me loose. Come on, mate. So Gizzarelli has the last laugh. It ends up being just a rush behind in the end. So the human eye score review worked in a treat, way better than the AFL's ARC, as we know. And the umpires have confirmed that that was a behind only. So Gizzarelli beating Lucev to the punch, and he did have the last laugh after all. So my mistake, I was probably just mesmerised by the fact he kicked 14 goals last week, and also that the crowd got full voice as well. So we'll give that one a behind, 1-4-10 to 1-3-9. It's enough, though, to give the Cougars back the lead. As Imperials now send this one through the middle. They're in their attacking half. Handball is good. Back into Armstrong, the captain. We mentioned that he doesn't make two mistakes in a row, and we won't pay that one as a mistake because he doesn't have to kill the clock and end a good, old-fashioned, tough slog of a quarter. And one that certainly Imperials earn their stripes in. It's Kojonup by a point. 1-4-10 to 1-3-9. Kyle Smith with the opening goal for the Cougars. Sam Hancock responding for the Magpies. And we will have our first break here on the Filming Footy broadcast in the Tyre Power Manjimup Lower Southwest Football League match of the day, round 11 between Kojonup and Imperials at the Kojonup Sporting Complex, the Kojonup Town Oval. Louis Bulzomi here. We want to thank our sponsors at Filming Footy as well. Great Southern Fuels, AFGRI, Delta Ag, Kimberley Accommodation Group, UTF Trailers, Corrigan Hotel, Wild Gravel, Alum Lube, Dartfish, Archie's, Omnibus, Classic Clashes, Gallagher, Premium Grains, Manjimup Gateway Hotel, and the Pemberton Hotel. We'll be back in a few minutes.
It's my first time in words. Puts a bit of pressure on this one as well.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero.
410 to 139 is the official tally, and it is the Cougars who have the lead. But Imperials, though, in general play, fair to say that they have the moral advantage so far. And they get the early free kick, and then once again, a centre clearance. They've won all of them so far, all four of them. And Timothy Mayers, unfortunately, doesn't make the most of that one as it's turned over at right half forward. But they get it back again, though, Imperials. Only for the moment, though. There's Jamie Marinoni. Handball back in towards O'Shea. Doesn't take it cleanly. Weasel's there too. Lets it go behind him for Armstrong. He drops it, but no price at the umpire. Coming in again, Van Voorthuizen. And he ends that particular bit of play right there. So the restart. Mayers once again, Tim, we got that little clever tap back, but didn't get to a teammate though. Not quite read off the same song sheet that time. O'Shea interrupting and able to send that one across for a throw in. And a double hander from the boundary umpire. That's gone absolute wayward. Come back, son. Have another crack. Go the singular. No, yeah, that's it. That's better. Hand, yep. Just remember the Brendan Favola grip on the ball. Hand at the bottom. One hand at the bottom, one at the top. Much better. There you go. Straight to the eye, it'll do all that one. That's what we want to see. Instead of just the old bouquet garter toss at weddings that can go anywhere. Hands here, Marinoni. Into the other Marinoni. That was Jamie into Matthew. Matthew, though, second to the ball. Able to put the tackle on. And we'll do it again. I've seen it broadcast side here. As we get a ruck infringement free kick going away at Brisbane for Imperials. Puts the slipper into it. Got some spiral effort. Just a little over the head of Alex Hancock. But he made a good effort in that contest, though, to bring it down. Even though the ball went over his head, you would have thought his defending opponent could have grabbed the mark. Didn't quite. It was fantastic work from him. And likewise with Hall, able to ride at heavy tackle. But unfortunately, though, had Pryor in the opposite four. And Matthew Marinoni gets rewarded with the free kick. We'll see what he can do here to send Kojonup on their way. Goes for Smith. Hands to it, but through them. And out of bounds it goes. So just remember, yep, one hand underneath the ball on the point, one at the top, and it should stay nice and straight. Beautiful. That's 2 in a row. Love it. Off hands Brisbane. Into Jordan Johnson. Tackled immediately. Umpire alert to that. And no prior ball up. So we'll see Brisbane and Ashton go at it again. This time Ashton over his shoulder to Matthew Marinoni. Hacks it off the ground. Can Weasel get onto this one? That's a great little tap and go from him. Handball a little too overzealous to Harry Taylor, but still, the idea was superb from Weasel. He might be able to get a follow-up this time. Burrows his head in. Then get some friendly fire contact from Harry Taylor, that is. But he's all fine. And we get a ball up. But 1%er work to the core. That was sensational from Jermaine Weasel to give the Cougars this scoring opportunity. But we'll see if Imps are equal to it to rebound out. Timothy Mayers hacks a handball out before losing his feet. Still a hot footy to be won. Smith comes in for the Cougars. Matty Marinoni getting busy again. And he finds Harry Taylor on the chest. Might be a little bit put off by the angle, so he just pumps a kick in. Little punter. Stabby back to Matthew Marinoni. He didn't get the distance with his set shot in the first quarter. He'll chance his arm this time, though. And he comes. Basketball courts, swimming pool in the background. That looks pretty good, but not good enough. Behind says the goal umpire. That's our first score for either side in this second term. Goal 5 now for Kojonup. Imperials 1 goal 3, 11 plays 9. Here in this second term, first versus third. And starting to live up to that billing at the moment as the Cougars. Smith, good handball release from Tully. Open goal square, but it misses again. Smith has 1 goal 2. Now you're starting to see Travis Abbott's men get their game going, get their re-entry game going. The press up and the repeat inside 50s. And here comes another one. Mark taken by O'Halloran at right half forward. Pumps it in. Off hands. Claiming the mark there was Lucev, but umpire said there were some Imperial hands involved there too. And Corey Johnson able to lock him up and will get a ball up. And he's a fiery customer, Lucev, of course. Denied that goal in the first term when he probably got a little too cocky trying to show the ball back up to Scott Gizzarelli, and Gizzarelli mowed him down just when we thought he had put it through. Needed toe poke it a little earlier. Tortoise and hair stuff, that was. Anyway, after 14 last week, you'd only think it would be that kind of roller coaster for him that he would probably go without one today, but we'll see what happens. Surely he won't. As we see Jamie Marinoni lose his footing at right half forward, but paddled the ball in front of him and got it out of bounds for a throw-in. Certainly not deliberate there. It was all accidental. To Lusev's goal kicking stats up at the moment. 45 goals he's kicked for the season. He has kicked at least one in every game. In fact, he's got no less than 2. And that was against Dean Mill back in round 2. Started the year against Southerners with 7. And of course, his best effort was the 14 against Boyup Brook at last start. As we get another throw in here, Weasel involved, as is Lucev again, as Kojonup return to their forward 50. Brisbane doesn't make contact with the football. Neither did Isaiah Reid, who's now gone into the ruck to give Ashton a rest. Ball comes back out towards centre-half forward for the Cougars. And they retrieve the footy once again. It might be Ryan Bellotti who's now on for his first real taste of the action. High ball in towards Ben Taylor, who couldn't take the mark. Fights for it again, though. Ball still alive here. Ripped out of Johnson's hands by Smith. And now charging through there, Lucev. Too many handballs, though, in close quarters for the Cougars. But you can be forgiven for allowing that because there wasn't really a clear sight towards goal. But that plays in Imperials' hands, though, as Armstrong comes in and lays a good tackle and stops O'Shea from another repeat entry. But we are starting to see more of those happening for Kojonup. Undoubtedly the Kings in that stat this year. Although surprisingly yet to win a centre clearance in this match. They get a regular stoppage clearance here, though. Ben Taylor slaps it forward. It goes out the back. I don't think it's touched anybody. It's been let through by Mitch Blakers. He thinks it's good. Umpire doesn't agree. So it was touched along the way through. So that's a couple of would-be goals for Kojonup. The other one being from Lucev in the first quarter. They go to 1-7-13 now, 1-3-9 the score for Imperials. But the Cougars win the ball back via a free kick. We'll see whether this time goal number 2 will be added to their score. And wind up, and the pitch. This is Big Blakers. Plenty of horns honking around the Kojonup Town Oval. And the big man Blakers is the one to take it. He let the other one go through, not realising it had been touched in flight off Ben Taylor's boot. So he makes amends this time. It was a kicking in danger free kick that he won. Well within range, and that's arguably the best example of a drop punch shot that we've seen today so far in trying conditions. So well done to Blakers and well done to Kojonup, who now start to assert their authority on this game. But we'll see whether Imperials can respond. 2-7-19 to 1-3-9. That's the biggest lead of the day so far. 10 points to the home side, to the ladder leaders. Now Smith slides in, but gives away a free kick, though. And away come Imperials once again. Slipping and sliding through there. Melentis puts a left slipper into that, and they get the follow-up kick as well. Pretty open forward line here. Here's an opportunity. Well gathered by Alex Hancock. Found space around the left. That is a sizzler. Ripping goal from Alex Hancock, who's been almost there so far in this game. But he's definitely there this time when it matters to pull the margin back to under a goal. 2-3-15 go Imperials, 2-7-19 for Kojonup. Keep this going, please. Hopefully this stays this way. Of course, the home side won't want me to say that, but of course, from a commentator's perspective, we love a close contest. We've seen it at the moment, and the outside of the right boot, if you don't mind, running away from the face of goals from Alex Hancock. Just instincts of a proactive nature from the wily veteran as Imperials, another centre clearance win for them. And now, well, we know the FIFA World Cup's going on at the moment. Of course, Australia locking in their round of 32 clash. It's confirmed that it'll be against Egypt next Saturday, 4 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 2 a.m. in the West. I'd say there'll be a few pulling an all-nighter, that one, in readiness for our next round of football here in the Lower Southwest Football League. As we see the ball back inside 50 here for Imperials. Heavy traffic once again. Hall involved with the tackling. Now, a long time was given there to Jamie Marinoni. He can't believe it. Shake of the head. Umpire picks out a holding the ball free to Malentis. You just know you're a sitting duck when the umpire swallows the whistle for a little while. And then eventually when you hear it blown and you're the one sitting on the footy, no matter how it got there, you'll be gone. So Malentis, 4 goals at last start against Bridgetown, 3 the week before against the Tigers. Off hands here. Have we got another opportunity? No, the post got in the way. Once again, Alex Hancock, the man, front and centre. Opportunistic, intuitive. Fortunately, unsuccessful that time. Arjun now back to 3 points. Way of Kojonup, 2-7-19, plays 2-4-16. Well, thanks, of course, to Tyre Power, Manjimup, naming right sponsor of the LSWFL. As the Cougars now proceed to half forward, but that's as far as they're going to go. Isaiah Reid caught and giving away the free kick. Well, Sam Hancock the one that time. He was able to get hands on that as Imperials continue to maintain possession through Hall. So Hall sends a long one up the line. A couple of players flew for that. Either could bring them down. The ball is seen over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. A couple of our canine friends enjoying the play there on the small hill too, which is great to see. And the swimming pool is now Hall, who is really building in confidence in this game as each ticking minute goes by. Speaking of which, so is this man, Alex Hancock, and wins a free. Kick a ripping goal, all of a sudden you're floating on air, and that's how he's feeling at the moment. He sends a nice long deep ball in to around about 30 from goal. Digging in and under is Tonkin, can't find a clear gap, and eventually the coach comes in to save the day. Travis Abbott locks the ball away. So ball up. Side Imperials forward 50 again. A trail, but not by much, just the 3 points. As the Cougars clear away. And Taylor was involved with that off the left. Chance here now for Sam Hancock. Can't pick it up cleanly, but he won't worry about that. The boundary line there to save him. A throw-in will take place. Of course, today is the Fight M&D matchup. Of course, we did lose the late, great Neil Danaher a month ago after a 13-year battle with the Beast. As the Cougars now charge forward. Open goal square, beckoning for Reid. And that seemed a little too easy in the end. They did win the free kick for... may very well have been deliberate, I think. Maybe poor old Hancock didn't do enough to make a genuine attempt to keep it in. Insufficient intent. That's starting to creep back into vernacular in football. But that was a dead art. So from the replay, Tully took the free from centre wing. And then a whistle that confused Toigo, who went up for the mark. Harry Taylor made him pay for it at the back. And he found Reid, who did the old Joe the Goose, and snuck it through for 4 points. And Kojonup's 3rd goal. As we tick over 16 minutes in this second term. 3-7-25, 2-4-16 is the score. And our Premium Footy graphic has that to the point exactly for both sides, which is great to see. So, Graham, thumbs up for you there, mate. Camera work is superb as off the back line there, Jamie Marinoni sends it deep through the middle, through the corridor. Tapping it forward there, Van Voorthuizen. Gets involved yet again. Thumps a kick inside 50. Tumbling ball. Helped on its way. Weasel! The Weasel steps in and goals. When he gets a sniff, he can take everyone's breath away, can Jermaine Weasel. He does exactly that on cue. And the margin now out to a game high, 15 points for the ladder leaders. 4-7-31, Kojonup. Imperials 2-4-16. 17 and a half gone almost in this second term. Round 11 of the Lower Southwest Football League. All thanks to Tyre Power Manjimup. Get the power of friendly expert tyre advice at Manjimup Tyre Power. Locally owned, serving Manjimup and the surrounding areas. And so back in the middle, big thump out. Looks like Ashton's back in for main ruck duties for the Cougars. Weasel again. Harassing pressure was excellent. Releases Smith. And now getting onto his right and finding space. Harry Taylor, the captain, wants in on the party too. The door got shut on him though, one behind. Ominous signs now for Travis Abbott's men. All right, 32 to 2-4-16 at the score. Starting to put the foot down. Mentioned Imperials, who are up in their eyeballs 2 weeks ago against Bridgetown, but had a goalless last quarter that killed off their chances, going down by 16 points. Could be letting this game slip away here, even though we are still over a half to go. As that one there is fisted away out of the hands of Beebe by Ben Taylor for a throw-in. So this is the litmus test now for the visitors. Starting to see the best of Kojonup now bubbling to the surface in these last few minutes. Big thump out there. Toigo doing the ruck work that time. And Sean Grigg, Richmond style. Helped lead the Tigers to that breakthrough premiership in 2017, as we know in the AFL. Up inside 50, this one goes. It was an ineffective hit out, though. And now, Lucev fooled them all. Dummied the opportunity to go for goal and gave it off to Harry Taylor again. That one swinging across the face and then touched through for a behind by Franklin, I believe. So we'll pay that one as rushed. You know, sometimes it does get credited to the man having the shot because it was a marking attempt that was spilled. Second touch generally goes the way of the rushed variety. So 4-9-33 to 2-4-16. Margin now at 17 points in favour of Kojonup. And it's Smith once again. He's the focal point up forward and he's the man that's doing it all. The utility. Imperials certainly find it difficult to find the right matchup for him so far because he's so versatile as this one comes up and almost paid the mark there, Ben Taylor. No, play on's the call and then Jordan Johnson stopped putting the tackle pressure on and Kyle Smith says, thanks a lot. I'll just chime in and get a goal. So, yeah, unlucky. Unlucky there, Imperials. Played for the whistle, didn't hear anything. And the Cougars just kept playing footy. That happens. We know there are a lot of dogs around this oval. So maybe the Imperials were hearing some dog whistles. By mistake. That's sonic hearing. That's tell you what, that kind of hearing, you'll be able to hear satellites in space without the need for extra technology. That's that sharp. But no, unfortunately, the whistle that they didn't hear was the umpire's one. Play went on. And Smith made the most of that. He's got 2 goals now, the only multiple goal scorer for either side. 5-9-39 to 2-4-16 now the score. 23 points to the good, the Cougars. And they win a free kick here. And one of the rare times today, they win a centre clearance as a result. Norwich releases Blakers inside 50. Here's an opportunity now for Lucev. Played it to the front of his feet. And then the release handball here to Taylor once again. Hasn't had much luck in front of the goal so far. That one there too wide for Weasel. Out of bounds it goes. So about 35 out from Kojonup's goal once again. Toigo just goes whackety whack out of the ruck, but doesn't find a teammate. Weasel's there. Armstrong has him wrapped up. And the ball just inside the field of play. Ball up. Only 22 gone in the second term. And Kojonup now tightening those screws on. Very gallant Imperials outfit so far, but it is starting to get tough for them. Big Reed now comes into the ruck for the Cougars. So we go again. Might have underestimated his size, actually, just from my angle. Certainly not the centre for Rance out there. Linked to, of course, the great movie Zoolander. As now coming out, Big Reed. Got it from Weasel. Doesn't get enough carry on that kick through the hands of Morgan. One behind, but because it was a single touch, we will give that behind to Reed this time. Isaiah Reed, 1-1. And the score now for Kojonup. Have it at 5-10. 2-4. Score for Imperials. Gruffy's got 5-9, but again, we will always confirm the scores at the main breaks. Off hands here. Once again, Marinoni involved. It was Jamie that time. Short ball in from Harry Taylor. Doesn't find its intended target in Matty Marinoni. It comes back to Taylor now. Swings back around. Gets onto the right boot this time. Up high. Good effort. Norrish couldn't bring it down though. Imperials clear away, but for how long? Maybe long enough. They get a hack kick forward. Fighting hard was Franklin. Does well. But unfortunately, no one home. Taken away by the Cougars once again. Read the target just outside the outstretched left hand of his. And he's bowled over by Raymond Mayers, but all is fair there, and it will be last touch out. So Mayers will take the free. So Mayers kick up towards left half forward. Cut off here by Lockie Norrish. Just got an update from Kojonup. There's a jumper change. Angus Johnson, not wearing number 9, wearing number 6. So he was involved in that play a minute and a half ago. So thanks very much for that update. As this kick goes nice and long here for Kojonup. Target there was Blakers. Nearly had some head contact, but umpire said it was fair. As Imperials now hack it away. A long centre wing on the broadcast interchange side of the Kojonup Town Oval. And it'll be rebounded here by Bellotti. Bellotti's kicked just over the outstretched hand of O'Halloran. And then being held off of it was Lucev, and he'll get the free. Maybe can't believe his misfortune there. He's done well so far, little Colby, but he and his teammates, though, realising the task is getting ever so difficult. Lucev's kick, though, cut off by Hancock Samuel. Through the hands of its intended target in Hall, who fights hard again, but unfortunately outnumbered. And Lucev falls back into the hole. Touched off the hands, though. Claimed the mark. The umpire said, nope. I saw a hand go onto the leather before yours did. From a bit further afield, so we'll pay it as a ball up. Brisbane for Imperials. And a little bit of tunnel ball with his opponents there. Got through one, but didn't get through all. Jordan Johnson puts a tackle on, though, joined by Alex Hancock, and we'll get a ball up. At left half forward for the ladder leaders. Tap down, O'Shea, hassled off of it. Jordan Johnson burrows through. Handball, though, cut off by Weasel, but he's dispossessed straight away. Good fighting here, O'Halloran as well. So this is the Imperials scrap that we saw succeed so well in the first quarter, starting to come back into vogue again, which is good to see. Well done there by Raymond Mayers. He made at least 4 efforts there. In and amongst all that, outnumbered in most of them too. Forces a boundary throw in. Brisbane down. Jordan Johnson can't grab it. Let's see what can happen here. Oh, Mayers, bad luck. Out of bounds on the full toe poke. Found air, even though he had tried to kick the puddle to see if the ball would just skid along, and unfortunately it lifted up. Certainly not the intention. As Bellotti now runs to the right, his right of the man on the mark. Soccer off the ground. Corner ball. Not bad effort from Blakers, but across the face in its entirety, or totality. And it should be a boundary throw in the right forward pocket here for the Cougars. Kicking to the left of your dial, left of your screen. We've got the Pensioner Road end, with the Bowling Club end, Blackwood Road wing, and the swimming pool wing. Here at Kojonup Town Oval. I'll say it's Pensioner Road end anyway. before that kick was affected by Blakers, there actually was a free kick paid off of that. So it was taken, I believe, by Sam Hancock, but rebounded here by the Cougars. Lucev looms large here again, but Beebe beats him to it this time. Goes to his knees. Bob's back up again. Lucev, though, stayed with him the whole way. Creates a little path here from Marinoni. Jamie, who handballs it back in towards Smith. Wrestled out of it. Ball continues to be a live one here for both sides. Now picked up here by Ben Vorthusen. And he's shot towards goal. Run through and rushed through by Sam Hancock. One behind. Third rush behind for Kojonup so far. And they waste no time. Imperials getting the rebound in towards Big Brisbane. Big ruck. Up towards centre wing on the interchange side. Some find a clean target, but Imperials, though, have retained possession, which is vital in the dying stages here of the opening half. Can they get a scoring opportunity out of it, though? They might be able to. They continue to fight it forward. Hall involved. As is Scott Gizzarelli, who was the last man to get a disposal there inside 50 for them, but that's as far as it went. And the Cougars are able to 1% of themselves out of danger. And sliding over the boundary line, Leon van Vorthusen for a throw-in. He's been solid all throughout this game and throughout the campaign. There's Leon van Vorthusen, the Flying Dutchman. Couple of best ons. Last time these two sides played, he was one of Kojonup's best back in round 5. As we see, ball played now over on the far wing near the multi-purpose complex, inclusive of the swimming pool. Off hands here. Now Jamie Marinoni gallops away. Long kick into a centre half forward. Gains a good penetration. Bang! That is dangerous stuff. Big Brisbane. Certainly no malice in it. And a yellow card given as well. And probably not surprising, unfortunately. It was a crude challenge. As we mentioned, certainly no malice. He did put his hand straight back up, and there's the resultant 50-metre penalty too, going the way of Norrish. And thankfully he's up and okay, able to take his shot, no problem. Although probably should just hold the phone for a little bit, make sure he does actually keep the goal. He does, nice and careful from the top of the goal square. So the good news, though, is we do apologise, might have been a temporary dropout from yours truly there. We are back and reconnected. As, we just got in time, though, the head charge. Accidental, but still purposeful enough to warrant a yellow card for Big Angus Brisbane. So we'll see him back in the latter third of the third quarter. And that unfortunately means for Imperials they'll be playing one short during that time. So goal to Norrish. It's his first, 6th overall for Kojonup. Might be time for one more. Ooh. Imperials had hoped would have been theirs. This is in the path of Norrish once again at left half forward. He bangs the turf, pretending he was banging the ball there to try and confuse the umpire. Did enough. Well, I don't think he had prior anyway. The tackle was latched on quite quickly. Speaking of which, O'Halloran puts a good tackle on. Doesn't get into his opponent's back. Forces the ball up. So playing out time here. That one there helped over the line. Is it on the full off the boot of Matthew Marinoni? No. Like Memphis Mayers there, not in much of a hurry to try and keep that ball alive, or was it Colby Beebe actually? I think it was the latter, Beebe that time. Not willing to want to keep that one alive as this one goes deep in towards the Blakers' direction. 2-on-1. Doesn't matter because the other one for the Cougars stayed front and centre. Textbook stuff. It was the skipper, Harry Taylor. This time he finds the middle of the goals. It's quite a long quarter, this one. 32 and change so far. So Taylor finally joins the goal-kicking party, and they've really skipped away here. Have Kojonup 7-11-53 to 2-4-16 as his second term goes on and on and on and on. Just 2 goals kicked in the first term. We've now seen 6 from the Premiership favourites. Just the 1 the other way for the Cougars, and it's 5 in a row now for Kojonup, if you don't mind, as Smith goes into the middle and sends a long ball out towards right half forward. Harry Taylor slipping in, sliding in, unable to retain possession before the boundary line meet him. So another throw in. There may yet still be time left for another score. 33 gone in this second term. Just waiting for the timekeeper's clock to make the multiple beeps to indicate that the quarter is over, and the siren will be about to blow. Well, that time is up. He can obviously sit and take as long as he wants to blow the siren, but then we'll have our own version of siren gate if that happens. You never forget 2006 down in Tassie in the AFL. The last time, and one of the rarest times in living memory where a result was overturned days later. And, of course, that day, WA's own Freo got the chocolates, as we do get the siren now within a millisecond of the time clock going beep, 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 beep. And a quarter that went close to 34 minutes ends with Kojonup, as expected, well in front, but take nothing away from Imperials' endeavour so far in this contest. 7-11-53 to 2-4-16 is your halftime score. Goal kickers for the Cougars. Kyle Smith has 2. Lockie Norrish, after copying a nasty head knock from Angus Brisbane, which has forced the big Magpie ruck off the field via a yellow card. Thankfully, looks okay, and he was able to kick a goal off the back of that from a 50-metre penalty. Mitch Blakers with 1. Harry Taylor, the skipper, after missing quite a few. 1 behind and a few nearlies and out of bounds on the full as well. Got 1 late in that term. Isaiah Reid and Jermaine Weasel also have goals on the board for the Cougars, while for the Magpies, they're 2 goal kickers, both the Hancock boys, Sam and also Alex. So we'll take a break. Before we do that, we once again thank the LSWFL's major naming rights sponsor, Tyre Power Manjimup. Of course, Tyre Power Manjimup. Get the power of friendly expert tyre advice at Manjimup Tyre Power. And, of course, Filming Footy's major sponsors, Great Southern Fuels, AFGRI, Delta Ag, Kimberley Accommodation Group, UTF Trailers, Corrigan Hotel, Wild Gravel, Alum Lube, Dartfish, Archie's, Omnibus, Classic Clashes, Gallagher, Premium Grains, Manjimup Gateway Hotel, and the Pemberton Hotel. We'll take our break, and we'll be back ready for the second half. It's the Cougars by 37 points.
The relationship with Great Southern Fuels started with my father 50 years ago, delivering fuel in drums back in the day, which has progressed into large tanks now. They've been very reliable and efficient on time with service.
We run a mixed farming operation here on Chapman Valley, just north of Geraldton, managing about 5,500 hectares. We've been with what is now Great Southern Fuels for in excess of 20 years. There's always challenges and situations that catch you out, and they've been really, really good at accommodating that for us.
We've been with Great Southern for 28 years now. Look, they've given us exceptional service and they're price competitive. So it's wonderful.
They're a great company to work for. They're a family-owned business. They will support you and whatever is required.
I've got Alan's phone number, I've got Steve's phone number, and I know if I ring it, I'll get an answer, which is really cool.
The relationship's great and the service is second to none. So I ring up and it doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday or whenever I ring up, I'll have fuel. So we've never been held up or had a problem with them. So my theory is that's what I'm about. It's about service and the relationship, and it's been fantastic.
It's very important to maintain long-term customers' loyalty and give back what you can when you can.
Great Southern Fuels is one of the few companies that I've been involved with that gives so much back to the local community. We support so many different organisations and country, sporting clubs, field days, farming organisations.
We endeavour to give back. The community looked after us by dealing with us, and we just gave it back in what we could do. Footy club needs a hand, well, it's because they need a hand that you give it to, not the other way around.
When you look at how they conduct themselves in the community, they've been a great supporter of the Livestock Transporters Association. Just incredible what they do.
I do a lot for the community, which is good. And not only Lake Race either, you know, it's right where all his outlets are all over the state. You know, he's been excellent with that.
We tend to sponsor major events, the Great Southern Football Carnival, Colts Carnival.
Across the board, I think sponsorships are a very important part of any community. I grew up in Lake Grace and footy was my life down there for a long time. Great Southern sponsored Lake Grace back then, and along with many other footy clubs and hockey clubs and tennis clubs, and we might not always be making a big deal out of it, but the people that get sponsored, they understand and they relate to it.
They do a lot for the town, so yeah, I can't fault them. You know, they've been brilliant.
Great Southern Fuels have got strong values, and that shows in what they do. You know, they walk the talk and they do what they do.
You deal with people that are there and care about your business, and these people have been absolutely wonderful.
I'm very proud of what Mum and Dad have achieved in their life and how they've structured the business, and it's all structured around our customers and looking after people and being in the right areas where we need to sell the fuel and have the support there and sponsorship. Being part of the community, even though we're not in that community, but our workers are there and that's part of us.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory, until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
Siren sound, 8 minutes. 2 short indicating noises. 2 short indicating noises. I don't expect those to hang around any longer than that.
So one thing I've learnt about going to country football games, eat before I go, is the fucking food's usually shit. Meats.
This is the wettest day I've been to this year. I think I'd rather be at footy than playing golf. Yeah, for sure. Keeping warm for tea.
And you're back live with Louis Balzomi here for Filming Footy, all thanks to our major partners, the Great Southern Fuels, AFGRI, Delta Ag, the Kimberley Accommodation Group, UTF Trailers, the Corrigan Hotel, Wild Gravel, Alum Lube, Dartfish, Archie's, Omnibus, Classic Clashes, Gallagher, Premium Grains, the Manjimup Gateway Hotel, and the Pemberton Hotel. Of course, speaking of Manjimup, it's all thanks to Tyre Power Manjimup. Get the power of friendly expert tyre advice at Manjimup Tyre Power. Locally owned, serving Manjimup and surrounding areas. Naming rights sponsor for the Lower Southwest Football League. Of course, you are enjoying the coverage here on Filming Footy and also Classic Clashes. Round 11, top side, Kojonup. Third side, Imperials, and it is the home side who are our ladder leaders, our premiership favourites, unbeaten in season 2026 with a 37-point lead ready for the second half. 7-11, 53 to 2-4, 16 the score. At quarter time it was the Cougars by just the one behind, 1-4-10 to 1-3-9, but in that second term they kicked 6 goals, 7 to 1 goal 1. And the last score for Imperials came at the 13-minute mark of that second term, behind to Alex Hancock after kicking arguably the goal of the day. Only a couple of minutes prior to that, the margin at that stage was 3 points in favour of Kojonup, and they have not looked back since that particular point. Travis Abbott's men putting the foot down and starting to get that rebound, intercept game going, that forward press, and has served them beautifully this year so far, looking to see if they can add to their 2 previous LSWFL premierships back in 2014 and in 2020 in their 19th year of competition. So the other game that is on at the moment, Boyup Brook up against the Southerners. Unfortunately, don't have a live score for that. HQ sadly not being updated for you. So it is the bottom of the table clash there, but you would think based on how things are going in season 2026, sadly for Boyup Brook, that the Southerners would probably have the edge there. However, go back and take a look at how things went in the reserves. Earlier today here, it was Imperials 9-5-59 defeating Kojonup 2-6-18. Never looked like losing from the get-go. 4 goals to 1 behind in the first term and kept things steadily growing after that along the way. 3 goals to Bailey Edwards. Memphis May, as we mentioned, backing up, kicked a couple. Lockie Smith also backing up, playing 8 quarters. He kicked 2. The reserves captain, Matty Borland and Joshua Elliott, 1 goal each for the winners. While for the losing side, George Addison and Fred House were the 2 solitary goal scorers for Kojonup. Apologies there. The K should be a T. Kojonup is the go there, so just got the thumbs up. My apologies. So hopefully that'll be nice and all good going forward. Excellent work. Kojonup. K is silent, replaced by a T. Thanks, English language. That's all good. So Kojonup and Imperials is the matchup. As we said, the other matchup going on at the moment. We don't have a live score, sadly. Southerners up against Boyer Brook. And tomorrow, Bridgetown take on Dean Mill. The Tigers having the rest. The other result in the reserve, Southerners 15-10-100. Far too good for Boyer Brook, 4-26. As the second half now is underway. And we wait for the air raid siren to settle nice and down. 15 seconds to get that one nice and settled. And we'll see what Randy Armstrong can do now for the Magpies. Unfortunately, another turnover for him. Unlike his standards. One too many mistakes off his boot. Of course, all under pressure, as we know. As the Cougars get it up towards right half forward. And retain possession through Ben Taylor. And that is a perler of a pass. Got pushed as he kicked it 2, but it stayed nice and flat. And Kyle Smith takes the mark. No way a defender could stop that one. Not even someone as canny as Brad Armstrong. So Smith for his third. And to send Kojonup. Kojonup, so on their way to a lead past 40, and he does just that. Eight 11:59 plays 2-4-16. Kojonup. Continuing on their merry way. And just hope for Imperials' sake they don't let this one blow out too much. So we take a look back at the comparative seasons for both sides when we get the next stoppage opportunity as well. Because Kojonup aren't going to allow me to do that. Hacks off the ground there from O'Shea along with Reed. And now the soccer tactics continuing on. And reciprocated by Sam Hancock, and he then slips and slides with the challenge out of bounds. And of course, in the World Game, we would see a throw-in from the opposition take place to the umpire, but on this occasion, it's going to be a free kick given to the opposition, courtesy of last touch. So same, but different as we know. Ben Taylor, who's told to go back over his mark. So sinks the left slipper in to the top of the square. Smith just waits. And that's your story ever since the 13-minute mark of the second term. Nothing that Bradley Armstrong did wrong there. Got to the front. Unfortunately, mistimed the oval shape footy. And sitting there like a child waiting for a present at Christmas was Smith. Lining up for goal number 4. He was the early headache when the game was firmly in the balance. And now it's become a full migraine for Matt Seymour and his men. 4 goals to Kyle Smith. Kojonup extend the lead close to 50 points. 49 to be exact. 9-11, 65 to 2-4, 16. As far as the Archies thongs are concerned for POG, he's certainly putting his hand up for that, no question about it. But plenty of others around that I've liked for the Cougars. Van Voorthuysen's done some great 1%er work. Both Marinonis have been busy. White Blaker's work in the second quarter especially. Ben Taylor off the back line also been superb too. A couple of Imperials also putting their hand up, and unfortunately, though, if the scoreboard's going to stay lopsided and this lead's going to grow even more, can't see a Magpie wearing an extra pair of Archies going home after this as they get the ball towards left half forward. Good work, though, by Malentis to lock it away and prevent another rebound from Jamie Marinoni. Ball up. As we know, of course, Angus Brisbane still having to serve his yellow card penalty for the head charge on Lachlan Norrish at the 30-minute mark of the second term. And that second term did push towards 34 minutes, so he should be able to return just after the 10 or 11-minute mark of this quarter. So we await to see him come back. His last touch free kick from the interchange goes the way of Imperials. Memphis Mayers up inside 50, off hands here. What can Alice Hancock do? Shrugs the tackle nicely. Can't quite find Franklin, though, who was running into an open goal. Sadly, it'll only count as a rush behind, but it is their first score since Alex Hancock's behind at the 13-minute mark of the second term. So that drought's broken at least, but unfortunately it's a small mercy for the Magpies. They go to 2-5-17, Kojonup 9-11-65. A chance here for a repeat entry. A rare run in the latter stages of this game for Imperials. Off hands here, Hancock had 2 goes at it. The third one ripped away from him though. And Ashton happy to concede a stoppage here for the Cougars. It is deep inside the Magpies 50. 2 11s go up in ruck. And it's one down here by Ben Taylor. Charges away. When they're missed by Lucev on knees. Spinning around there, Marinoni, but without the footy. Allows Blakers, though, to help out behind him. And he wraps up Zachary Hall beautifully. Even got a little spin move on him as well. All up back inside the centre square. Ashton tapped down and guide was excellent. Away they come. Off hands here. Matty Marinoni into the release of Harry Taylor. One little careful bounce in towards Smith. This is going to become too easy, is it? End up being way too easy and not enough care for that one. The sea pressure was good, though. Must be fair. One behind for Smith. And luckily, there was enough ease on the kick of that ball to not cause a broken window on the card that the ball ricocheted into. Hatch back there. And of course, there is a need of a tyre change. Mandurah Tyre Power is the place to go. So 4 goals, 3 for Smith. 9-12 now for Kojonup. Apologies for the mispronunciation of Kojonup earlier on. Reading too much into the letters there. And Imperials 2-5-17. Margin back to 49 points as fighting through it in heavy traffic here. Jamie Marinoni can't find a gap. Eventually the ball comes out to Timothy Mayes, just hacks it blindly. Unfortunately, no one home. Well, Alex Hancock was there, but because of the blind kick, it was never likely going to be in his hands, and Abbott's the one who takes it. So the coach of the Cougars up the line. Through the hands there of Toigo, but he brought it to front and centre. But meeting him there, though, is Morish. Morish handball over to Smith. Caught this time. Well played by Beebe. I dare say if there was going to be someone putting their hand up for best players for Imperials, number 13 there, shaggy haired one would be one of those, I would think. He's been great, especially in the first quarter. He was everywhere. Reed helps part the seas here. Handball now comes towards O'Halloran. Just switches play there to the open space, the centre half forward. Rain onto it nicely here. Ben Taylor deserves a goal. Doesn't go for it in its entirety, though. Wanted Matthew Marinoni. Beaten to it, though. Roy going back with the flight by Sam Hancock, who now comes out. Ball falls short. Nearly marked by Weasel, but Reid was behind him, though, protecting. And the kick was of the highest order. Not high literally, but high in terms of quality. And the mark is taken by Lucev with barely a centimetre off the grass. And he'll go back and line up for his first goal since his 14th against Boyup Brook last week. Yet to go through a game without kicking one. Here's Lucev. And he makes sure that that streak continues. He gets his first. Kojonup continue on. 10 goals, 12-72 to 2-5-17. Margin now game high, 55 points. That's his 46th goal this season. Does lead all comers in the goal kicking table. Masters for Bridgetown second on 32. Kupanitschke for the bye-rested Tigers on 30. Jordan Strawn for Dean Mill, 25. And Scott Gizzarelli for Imperials, who's been playing mainly in defence today, though. He's on 24. So that's your top five. Of course, Harry Taylor knocking on the door as well. He now has joined Gizzarelli on 24 goals for the season with the one he's kicked so far today. As we see at the 10-minute mark of his third term, Imperials try to find some form of an answer. The questions have been really changed on them since the 13-minute mark of the second term. Good work from Tim Mayers to keep forcing it forward. Alex Hancock doing his best to make sure it stays there. And the second effort was fantastic, although we have got a lasso free. And we'll go Imperials' way, will it? It is pointing that way, yep. So Van Voorthuizen, easy for most to say, was the man, unfortunately, who infringed with the last touch. So Alex Hancock now sends it in the direction of Malentis. Off hands, couldn't take it. Norrish burrows in. Malentis careful with the tackle, ensuring that he won't suffer the same fate as his big ruck teammate in Brisbane, who was forced off with that non-malicious but certainly impactful head charge on Norrish at the 30-minute mark of the second term. We still haven't seen the big man return yet. So has to wait another couple of minutes before he can come out there.
It's only 1 minute 30 to go in that last quarter.
Yeah.
So you've still got...
So just here, overhearing a little conversation between timekeepers there. Of course, it is based on the time remaining, not the time elapsed. The stop-start nation. So about 6.5 minutes of game time before Brisbane can return to the action. So Imperials, of course, playing with one short. Since that moment, though, they have conceded 5 goals. And here at centre-half forward, Memphis Mayers. Open enough forward line, and if Franklin can just get hands to it, it goes through his legs. Second effort, okay. Got Cannon to the back by Bellotti. Will it be a free? Doesn't look like it. So our great boundary umpire friend, who remembers not to chuck it with both hands at the bottom point of the ball. One on top, one on the bottom, and it hasn't failed him ever since. Beautiful work again by he, as the Cougars clear away. Marking target Blakers, couldn't take it, but he knew he had some support, though, to apply the gang tackle, coming from his captain in Harry Taylor. And they both wrap up Beau Morgan. Speaking of best players for Imperials, I dare say he'd be my number one at the present time. His first quarter was certainly something else. As Scott Gizzarelli has that kick smothered, partially, though, still travelled forward. Goes and follows up again, known as Gizzarelli. Can't trap it this time. Away come the Cougars, but not that far, though. And Hancock Samuel chimes in for the mark, and the short ball's a good one. And they will get the shot on goal through Morgan, and he deserves one. Since he has worked perilously so far in this game, especially, as I said, in the first quarter, when things were watertight. Continuing to fight on ever since, despite the avalanche of goals the other way for Kojonup. So in comes Beau Morgan. Slightly off his line, and it works for him. Well deserved. So the run of 8 straight goals ends for the Cougars. Imperials get their third. They go to 3-5-23, taking up 10-12-72, margin back to 49 points. So good work from Bo Morgan. Popped up for a game for Augusta Margaret River in the Southwest Football League a couple of weeks ago. It has been in ripping form since round 3 in this league of ours, the lower Southwest. Best on for Imperials against the Tigers. The previous encounter against Kojonup, the Tigers again, and also at last start against Bridgetown. So Imperials with the centre clearance once again. Remember, they dominated that stat in the first quarter. Didn't concede a centre clearance in the first term at all. And still leading that stat, but of course, though, Kojonup have tightened up in other areas of the ground, especially when it's come to their repeat entries inside forward 50 from a kick out. Ball up again. There goes Morgan once more. In close quarters to Sale Constable. Inside 50, off hands here. Beautiful work. That was Alex Hancock. In towards the skipper Armstrong. Releases. Gittarelli. No, one behind. Anti-climax there for Imperials. Great build-up though. That's more like it. Second wind up their sails now. Still 8 goals behind. 3-6-24 to Kojonup 10-12-72. As the ball travels now towards centre wing over on the far side, our canine friendly side. As we see a couple of our dogs again that we saw earlier on in the contest enjoying the action. Enjoying the beautiful fresh air here at Kojonup, which thankfully the rain that threatened to bucket down and make things extremely difficult has stayed away. Not that it isn't already difficult with the muddy conditions and some extra precipitation underfoot. Seen a few puddles around the ground. Had to be trickily navigated by the players. But thankfully no extra rain added during this contest. So ball up, still on that same centre wing. Fighting out of it there, Ashton. Hacks a kick towards centre half forward. Getting to the front of there was Toigo. Did well, brought it to ground. Allows Corey Johnson to try and fight for it further, but they both miss out. Looked like that was Manny Marinoni finding Ben Taylor. A little bit too cute there in towards Weasel. Missed him, so Imperials have a chance now to rebound. And it's Timothy Mayers who is released, but only as far though as Jamie Marinoni steers a pass in. And Mayers, Timothy, mops up his mess, gets brought down, and was he caught? High, said the umpire. By Jamie Marinoni. So good fight between those two players there, both involved in intercepts off each other. Now Sean Gittarelli, his first real look at the action today. You can tell by how clean the jumper is. Gets the kick there, but Brandy Armstrong, though, outnumbered in that contest and centering on the interchange side. And the Cougars come away again through man of the moment, Kyle Smith, when it comes to goal kicking. Still the only multiple for both sides with 4. Won't be a 5th here. Wants to try and get others involved. Van Voorthusen through his hands, but he leaves it there for his coach, and why not? Guarantee yourself another spot next week. And Smith runs on and says, oh, well, I gave everyone else an opportunity to add their name to the goal sheet. You didn't want it, so let me have your 5th. He's come in and taken another good mark. And certainly a candidate for the Archie's thongs. No question about it, all thanks to Archie's footwear. So Kyle Smith, not much of an angle to speak of. 2 against Boyer Brook out of the 34 they kicked. 2 in the previous contest against Boyer Brook back in round 8, but his best effort 7 against Dean Mill in round 7. He's not far from that now. 5 today. So the mini fight back for Imperials ends. An unusual third quarter drought between goals for Kojonup ends as well. Only lasted 9 minutes when Lucev kicked their 10th. And now Smith gets their 11th, and as we mentioned, he's 5th. 11-12-78 to 3-6-24. Margin back up to 54 points. We still await the return of Angus Brisbane. Should be too far away now, you would think, from being able to come back on to help even the numbers out on the field as the Cougars again, courtesy of the great ruck work of Ashton, come inside 50. Only shallow entry though. Imperials fight hard. Slip in there through the tackle. Good pressure though from Memphis Mayers, and he gets rewarded. Well done. One tackle slipped, but the other one did not. Enough for the umpire to reward him with a free kick. So towards the interchange gates. Well trapped there by Malentis. Handball back towards Scott Gitzarelli, the vice captain. So a touch of the fumbles today so far, but his one best action though certainly was the goal that he was able to stop Lucev from kicking in the first quarter when both of them had a good chuckle about it in the goal square. Certainly that feels like an eternity ago though as far as Imperials were concerned, because the scores were level before that rush behind. Of course now the gap is 54 points. Restart there, little topo for Tiffany Mayers. Small appeals for kicking in danger, but certainly wasn't though. It's only just towards ankles. An ankle tap in as O'Halloran hacks the ball around, but that was a bit of a blind kick. And Morgan gets back and takes the mark at the back of Smith. Morgan back inside the middle. Hands here. Oh, waiting for the umpire's whistle. Is it gone? Saved by, in fact, it was Jordan Johnson, I should say, the 9. Played that one to a tee nicely. It's up in ruck there with Sale Constable for Imperials. Not to advantage though. Johnson fights in again. Jordan. Now his captain helps out as well, Armstrong. And we'll do it again. 20 minutes gone this third term. A bit of change. 54 points of margin for the ladder leaders. Yep, Kojonup Cougars. Imperials get the clearing kick away. Malentis couldn't take the mark, but his second effort is good. Took 2 on, including Angus Johnson, and now hacked off the ground by Scott Gitzarelli. Open forward line here. Franklin nearly for him, but did enough, though, to allow Hall to get onto it. He's tackled. Franklin follows up and misses to the right.
Go on now, Angus.
And you hear the call now from the timekeepers that Angus Brisbane is allowed back on. So his 15-minute yellow card penalty has been fully served. He returns to the action. Fortunately, in his absence, though, just the 1 goal kicked for Imperials, while Kojonup have kicked 6 themselves. 12-78. He's 3-7-25. Margin back to 53 points. Can Imperials get a repeat entry here? They fight hard, but beaten to it here by Lucev for the Cougars. Now the kick just falls into the flight of Smith. And he just continues to impress me every time I see him. I'm sure he doesn't need too much impressing in local circles. My first action and my first look at action here in the LSWFL, he is one of my favourites. And so is this man here, Jamie Marinoni. Knows when to bob up at the right time. Edge of the square, pick up, goal. So nice teamwork all around again by the Cougars. They go to 12-12-84 up against Imperials 3-7-25. So Jamie Marinoni adds his name to the goal kicking sheet. Well, he's vice captain, brother Matthew. Just 2 behind so far for him. But, certainly don't question his ability to be able to find the middle of the big sticks when called upon. Of course, also happy to help set others up as the Cougars charge away again through the middle. Off hands from Harry Taylor. Weasel was there too, but decides to leave this one for Tully. Releases Smith for a half a dozen. No. Not that time. 12-13-85 now. To 3-7-25. Margin out an even 10 goals. 9 goals 6 if you want to be technical. You wait now for Sam Hancock to bring the ball back into play. Once again, lack of a lockdown matchup hurting Imperials when it comes to Kyle Smith. He's forward, he's so versatile, but he also gets up and around the ground, and he's no stranger to play deep in defence as well, if called upon. He's been doing it today as well, despite the fact he's got 5 goals, 4 to his name. As we get a tough scrap here, in front of the interchange gates. Armstrong involved for Imperials. No high contacts paid, so ball up. As Reid will take the ruck here for Kojonup. And we see Big Brisbane back into the action. Gets the tap down. Jordan Johnson to set upon immediately and taken out of bounds by O'Shea. Brisbane got the initial tap down, but Reid got the follow-up. Imperials, though, get the clearance. It comes out the back here. Nice gather from Constable. Not easy to do in the muddy conditions. Helped on its way here by Tim Mayers. And then the look away fake handball from Alex Hancock. Held back for the second option. Wasn't a bad one because there was no one back home. So he went for glory. Unfortunately, couldn't find it. And he gets the one behind. But well worth a try. While everyone else had pushed up. So 1 goal 2 now for Alex Hancock. Margin back under 10 goals, 59 points to be exact. 3-8-26 Imperials, taken up 12-13-85. You see the Magpies back in possession for a repeat entry and an inside 50 entry and a mark taken as well. And it'll be Malentis who'll go back and have the shot. So after they stop the 8 consecutive goal run for Kojonup, they have been able to creep back into some good, solid lockdown football. Imperials, unfortunately, though, after they did get their 3rd goal, they've considered another 2 since. So, it's 10 out of 11 for the Cougars, but we'll see what Malentis can do. 4 goals at last start against Bridgetown. That one looks pretty good. That's his first of the afternoon. So he joins both Hancocks and Beau Morgan with goals in this game for the 3rd place Magpies. And they go to 4-8-32. Kojonup 12-13-85. As I mentioned, 4 goals at last start against Bridgetown. A couple weeks prior against the Tigers, he kicked 3, so 7 his last 2 games out of 11 for the season. 12th now with that goal. As we get back to the restart, paddling it there was Constable towards Mayers, but it was half work kick off the ground. As a result, turnover here for the Cougars, who get it forward 1% style as well and show them how it's done. Tully off hands. That's through. Goal umpire casually watching it with folded arms as well. Easy as you like. And then puts the 2 fingers up to confirm that that was a lovely reply from Kojonup. So Tully gets his first. Becomes their 9th goal kicker overall. 13-13-91 to 4-8-32. Margin now seesawing around the 9 to 10 goal mark. We return back into the middle. This time now Blakers goes in for the Cougars up against Brisbane. One out here by Armstrong, but he slipped over at the crucial moment. It's just not his day today. The returning Magpie skipper. As it comes here to centre half forward for the Cougars. Weasel helping it on its way. Hacked off the ground. Further up. There's Lucev. Drew the defender in. Tried to release his skipper, who couldn't quite keep it alive, and the umpire calls for a throw-in. We'll see who takes the ruck here. Plenty of hands up. Once again, Toigo will do it for the Magpies. Reed for the Cougars. Reed wins this one on the post. Down towards Tully. Quick hands and shot on goal coming, but no one home there for Kojonup. The only one there, Sam Hancock, to save the day. He finds Hall, does he? Nope. O'Halloran shuts him down. Keeps his feet as well. Open chance here for him. Decides to just rubber kick to the top of the square. Handball off. Smith gets his sixth. What more can you say? As the great Sandy Roberts said back in 1989, one of Gary Ablett Senior's finest on-the-run goals at the MCG. 14-13-97 to 4-8-32. Smith has half a dozen. And now takes him to 25 for the year, so he now starts to surge in towards the top 5 for the leading goal kicker race. Of course, that's still led by Lee Lucev, kicking almost a third of his goals just last week for Boyup Brook. As we go back into the middle, immediately wrapped up was Norrish, well played by Timothy Mayers, so we'll ball up again as we approach the 30-minute mark of this third term. Remember that the second quarter did go over 33 minutes. We did have a couple of stoppages, including that yellow card send-off for Brisbane, who's now back out there. So there might still be some time enough for the Cougars as the free kick's taken by Blakers inside 50. Off hands here. Harry Taylor helps it on its way to himself and then has some support here from Van Voorthuizen, who just throws onto the left boot. Just inside 50 at right half forward. Here's Weasel. Beats about 3 to him. Got the handball towards Taylor once again, Harry. Imperials play that quite well. Scott Gizzarelli helping out. Takes the tackle and uses the boundary line to perfection. So throw in. Fighting there on ground level, Norrish. It's dug out by Brisbane from the Magpies, Timothy Mayers. And he's met with a roadblock, loses the football, and then Weasel. Now, was that a head-high charge? Just pulled out the nick of time. Umpire let that play go on. Hack kick by O'Shea. Intercepted. Morgan takes the mark. And he's switching plays okay here to Armstrong. And I hope this one finds a target. Doesn't officially, but at least it's to the advantage of Beebe. So Colby pulls the kick to the path of Alex Hancock, who sees it across, unfortunately, off his boot. Out of bounds on the full. Basu, take your pick. It's a Cougars ball. Clancy Tonkin will take it. Now they're asking for 50. And the umpires are all saying, come on, mate. Pull the other leg, it plays jingle bells. As Sky News Paul Murray would say. Of course, it's now going to change to News 24 soon enough. As Weasel now at left half forward, mowed down by Morgan. Play continues. Lucev draws a crowd, has his kick smothered. Imperials up for the fight at this contest. Doing okay. Brisbane able to help out, and eventually Corey Johnson gets the kick away. But only one kick away though, not any multiple. And once again, Jamie Marinoni gets back there to fill the hole. Ashton to Blakers. Blakers long ball. Misses its target in Bellotti. Taken by Timothy Mayers, who did have a good second half of that third term, must be said. You can easily think that Kojonup would have kicked a few more goals if it wasn't for his hard work, as the siren confirms the end of the third term. Another one that went in excess of 30 minutes. 14-13-97. The team sitting at the top of the table, the home side. The visitors in third. 4 wins behind them, and just over 10 goals behind them here, nearly 11 for 832. Kyle Smith with half a dozen, everyone else all singles. We'll go through all of those after the break. You're with Louisville's Omi here for Filming Footy, all thanks to Great Southern Fuels, AFGRI, Delta Ag, Kimberley Accommodation Group, UTF Trailers, Corrigan Hotel, Wild Gravel, Alum Lube, Dartfish, Archie's, Omnibus, Classic Clashes, Gallagher, Premium Grains, Management Gateway Hotel, and the Pemberton Hotel. Here for the Kojonup Cougars and the Imperials Magpies in round 11 of the 2026 Lower Southwest Football League season, all thanks to Tyre Power Manjimup. Break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory, until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
Kojonup, 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 Kojonup,
Yeah, well, you're right. Well, you mentioned all just like,
And you're back here with Louisville's Army for Filming Footy's coverage of the match of the day for round 11 in the LSWFL. The Kojonup Cougars doing a number on the Imperials Magpies, but it took a quarter and a half for them to really get going. The Magpies really took it up to them when the scores were just half a kick in it at the 13-minute mark of the second term at 2-7-19 to 2-4-16. But since then, though, it's been one-way traffic, 14-13-97 to 4-8-32. The graphic says 14-11-95 to 4-7-31. So I have to double-check maybe a couple of those rush behinds. 2 less for the Cougars, 1 less for Imperials. It really matters not, though, because the Cougars have a solid lead as play starts centre wing on the opposite side. Hands of Toigo. And Evie, they send it forward to left half forward. Franklin receives a handball from Constable in towards Alex Hancock. Gets a rally. Scott was there too, but he couldn't take the ball with him. Jordan Johnson could, though. Snap high in hope. Magpies still have a chance here. The skipper Armstrong charges through, keeps the ball alive. Alex Hancock holds it up in a prayer to say to the umpire, no prior. Umpire said, well, at least you got rid of it, so I'll let play go on. And eventually the ball will be called back. So the goal kickers for the Cougars, we mentioned Smith was 6, Jamie Marinoni, Lee Lucev, Lachlan Norrish, Mitchell Blakers, Lachlan Tully, Harry Taylor, Isaiah Reid and Jermaine Weasel, the other goal kickers, all ones. Same on the Magpies side, they are all ones as well. Kane Malentis and Bo Morgan both in the third quarter. Sam Hancock in the first term, Alex Hancock in the second term as we return play here. Right half forward for the Magpies. And dragged down was Beebe, but was he done illegally? According to the umpire, yes. He'll get the free kick up from the back line. Helping affect a forward press here. And then, he just got a little too cute with that and found nothing but the man on the mark in Tully, who knocked it down with his left mitt. And now Tully grabs the full force of the ball and takes the full force of the Zachary Hall tackle. So Brisbane, tapped down, Hall swung around, but got the ball free. And again, things are wrapped up yet again. So now we'll get an opportunity to just have a look at how Kojonup have built their season. Started with a 119-point win over the Southerners in round 1, followed up by a 58-point win over Dean Mill, and then a solid 23-point win over their nearest rivals for this year in Bridgetown on their deck. And then a 100-point even win over the Tigers, followed up by a 56-point win against their current opponents back in round 5. Round 6 had the bye. Dean Mill again, 131 points that time. The first Boyup contest, just a 57. But then the next time they faced them after their round 9 bye, 192. That's how they've built up their 8 wins in season 2026 from 8 starts as they look to secure number 9 as the heavens now have officially opened up. Harry Taylor at right half forward, steering pass in. He's not affected by the weather, no question about it, and we'll see whether Matthew Marinoni will be affected when he takes his shot. You can now visibly see that on your screens that we have got a few mils coming down now. The lights now in full effect too, around the Kojonup Town Oval, the sporting complex, as Matty Marinoni says, what wet weather? I'll kick him in any conditions. He becomes goal kicker number 10 for the Cougars. 4.25 minute mark of the final quarter. (15-13, 103), so raise the bat. 4.832, or we can go with 15-11, 101 to 4.731. Take your pick, as I admittedly didn't double check to see if that was the official umpire scores. We'll go with a graphic, why not? So 70 points. The margin in favour of Kojonup. So another percentage builder coming their way as Hall's bumped off it methodically by O'Shea. And Ashton creates a path for Matty Marinoni, the last goal kick up. Inside 50 it comes. Can Weasel get a second here? But just the second multiple of the afternoon. Nope. Cole Smith has a wry smile and says, I'm keeping all the multiples to myself. As that one goes wide and out of bounds. Good work from the boundary umpire to go and fetch that in the heavy conditions. Not helped by anyone in the crowds. All staying in their cars, and why not? Keep dry. Prevent getting ill. If you can. This one here is picked up by Matty Marinoni. Off a step from 50. Carries the big pack. And then at the back, Topuk off the ground. Who got there first? Did Lucev get there? I think he did. Umpire says yes. So unlike the first term when he was beaten to it by Gizzarelli, and probably his own fault too, because he should have just finished it off a couple of seconds earlier, he gets to that one and he now gets that wry smile back off Colson and says, I've joined you in the multiple goal kicking ranks. So it won't be 14 today for him, but another 2 he adds on to his tally as he knocks on the door of a half century of goals in season 2026. 16-11, 107 to 4. Fortunately, you don't win too many contests with Mother Nature, and you certainly don't win with Father Time as this ball trickles forward. Will it go through? It does go through. I reckon Harry Taylor might have been the one that got that. We'll pay it to him. Trusty left boot of his. Was it the big fella in Blakers, actually? Just on a replay. As we return signal. It was the latter, in actual fact. Saw a left foot up. That big bad bustling Blakers. And he becomes another multiple. They're all coming now. It's raining multiple goals. As far as individuals are concerned, just like it's literally raining here at Kojonup Town Oval. 17-11 to 4-7. So from the restart, not much happening. Another tackle affected there by another man who has done some great work right throughout, despite an initial potential concussion concern, but thankfully he was all okay in the second term. Lockie Norrish. As now there is Taylor, Harry, off his non-preferred, towards Smith, who slips in on the half volley. Shrugs off the would-be tackler in Beebe, keeps forcing it forward. Toad, elusive comes in as well, but then he is stopped in his tracks, and Sam Hancock wonders why he's questioning it, because the free kick was definitely there. So he now comes out wide to Morgan. I dare say Imperials best today. Until that kick. I'd say he probably is still just in front though, as Smith traps that off. Mixes up now and waxes lyrical with Blakers, and now has a clear path into goal for number 7. No. Bit behind instead. What might have been. You can't blame it on the wet weather entirely, even though it's been muddy underfoot all game. Because until that shot, all of his others had been in much drier conditions. As now, Imperials get it towards right half forward in pretty good time as well. Just getting his kick away there is Alex Hancock, but he's turned around in a tackle, which did affect the angle of that ball, as it suits the Cougars nicely here. Careful handball by Bellotti back. Does enough there to draw the tackler in, and then get the release kick out to centre wing on the interchange side. Blakers again making his presence felt, but might have given a high fend off along the way. So Johnson Jordan will take the free kick. Love the boot to leather sound there on the effects mic. So that one is not completed. The attempt at the cut-off by the coach Travis Abbott, one of the 4 returnees to Kojonup side today. There's one Abbott in and one Abbott out, with Jake making way. Slung down was Matthew Marinoni, not sling in terms of the rules though, so play goes on. Memphis Mayers sends it back towards 50 for Imperials at right half forward. Good harassing work from Scott Gizzarelli to keep it in that area. On a phrase of the man who had a fresh area attempt, but the umpire said it was in the one go, so we won't ping you for illegal disposal. Soft hands here from the ruck stoppage. Matthew Marinoni off his left boot. Well read, in flight by Hancock Sam. Getting to the front of Harry Taylor. And makes quick work of it. Inside to Hall, who goes inside further, and then dropping it was Sean Gizzarelli, but he has time to recover. Inside 50 it goes, off hands, waiting at the front and centre. Good work from Tim Mayers. Unfortunately though, the ball had other ideas and slipped out of his hands just as he was thinking of the snap around the left. Oh, bad luck for him. Bad luck for Imperials as Lucev now meets it at centre wing, but he's met by Hall. Gets the handball away just before he slips over. And now they raffle it to the Magpies. Comes back towards Beebe, towards centre half forward here. Hancock, though, second in the line. Helps it on its way up forward. And then Falcon, without knowing where the ball was going to be, was Tonkin. Just had a sixth sense of it. He continues to fight on, as does Angus Johnson. Yeah, we're in the upside down 9 today. 9-6. As the ball now comes towards Weasel. Can't keep his feet either. We don't blame these players for losing it now, especially with the rain getting heavier. And the Imperials rebound lasts just the one disposal at their left half forward. So away they come now. A big read there for the Cougars, up towards Harry Taylor. One-on-one battle there with Mitch Farmer, who we have not seen a lot of, and probably unsurprising given that he had to play Rezzies as well today, as the signal unfortunately drops out again. I think I'm gone this time. Afgri. I had a feeling it was Afgri.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory, until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
relationship with Great Southern Fuels started with my father 50 years ago, delivering fuel in drums back in the day, which has progressed into large tanks now. They've been very reliable and efficient on time with service.
We run a mixed farming operation here on Chapman Valley, just north of Geraldton, managing about 5,500 hectares. We've been with what is now Great Southern Fuels for in excess of 20 years. There's always challenges and situations that catch you out, and they've been really, really good at accommodating that for us.
We've been with Great Southern for 28 years now. Look, they've given us exceptional service and they're price competitive. So it's wonderful.
They're a great company to work for. They're a family-owned business. They will support you and whatever is required.
I've got Alan's phone number, I've got Steve's phone number, and I know if I ring it I'll get an answer, which is really cool.
The relationship's great and the service is second to none. So I ring up and it doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday or whenever I ring up, I'll have fuel. So we've never been held up or had a problem with them. So my theory is that's what I'm about. It's about service and the relationship, and it's been fantastic.
It's very important to maintain long-term customers' loyalty and give back what you can when you can.
Great Southern Fuels is one of the few companies that I've been involved with that gives so much back to the local community. We support so many different organisations and country, sporting clubs, field days, farming organisations.
We endeavour to give back. The community looked after us by dealing with us, and we just gave it back in what we could do. Footy club needs a hand, well, it's because they need a hand that you give it to, not the other way around.
When you look at how they conduct themselves in the community, they've been a great supporter of the Livestock Transporters Association. Just incredible what they do.
I do a lot for the community, which is good. And not only Lake Race either, it's right through where all these outlets are all over the state. He's been excellent with that.
We tend to sponsor major events, the Great Southern Football Carnival, Colts Carnival.
Across the board, I think sponsorships are a very important part of any community. I grew up in Lake Grace and footy was my life down there for a long time. Great Southern sponsored Lake Grace back then, and along with many other footy clubs and hockey clubs and tennis clubs, and we might not always be making a big deal out of it, but the people that get sponsored, they understand and they relate to it.
They do a lot for the town, so I can't fault them. They've been brilliant.
Great Southern Fuels have got strong values, and that shows in what they do. They walk the talk and they do what they do.
You deal with people that are there and care about your business, and these people have been absolutely wonderful.
I'm very proud of what Mum and Dad have achieved in their life and how they've structured the business, and it's all structured around our customers and looking after people and being in the right areas where we need to sell the fuel and have the support there and sponsorship. Being part of the community, even though we're not in that community, but our workers are there and that's part of us.